Yes, you did read the title correctly, no need to go back and double check it. If you were anything like me when you were younger, your first job wasn't the most glamorous. I was 14 and needed money to fund my obsession of video games. It's never easy to get a job at that age. In my local area, most places didn't hire people unless you were 18 so you could sell alcohol and cigarettes. I may have bent those rules slightly in my second job, and by bend I mean completely break the law, like a rebel, but I'll save that story for another day. This story is about my first ever job. I saw an ad in the local newsagents to be a delivery boy. Okay. For you American folk, a newsagents is basically just a corner shop that sells newspapers, sweets, and whatever other nits and bits you can find. But they had an opening, and by God, I wanted that sweet money. It paid a whole £11 a week, which for a 14-year-old is like being an executive banker of the newspaper world. Okay, it wasn't really, but it was something better than just getting pocket change allowance. I signed up and got the call telling me that I was starting next week. I had to actually be responsible and mature? Pfft, I could do this with my eyes closed. It was essentially an estate for retired folk, so it was just one long curving street with apartments on either side. It was a simple route, and it did take some time to get used to the old person smell that lingered in each apartment every time I entered. But it kept me out of trouble. It was great exercise, enjoying the nice weather in the summer, and when winter came round, you knew that you were going to get a sweet Christmas bonus for every house you delivered to. As all the properties I was delivering to were older residents, they had money to burn, and I burnt that money just as quickly. Well, most residents gave me a tip. I'm looking at you, Mr. Herbert. All was well, until one day, I was informed that a new resident in the estate has ordered regular newspaper delivery. No biggie, it was on my route anyway, so shouldn't be a problem. That day, I entered the apartment block and went up the stairs to deliver the newspaper. I would normally just post it in the letterbox and be on my way. However, the door actually opened, and there stood a man, butt naked. He stared at me, eating cereal, butt naked. My 14-year-old eyes didn't know what to make of this, and I was like a deer in the headlights. But what? How did that even happen? I threw down the newspaper and got out there as quickly as I could. I don't think the man even had time to respond before I left. Later that week, it was reported and they actually did an investigation into this guy just to make sure there wasn't anything more sinister. But apparently he just wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Needless to say, I was told I didn't have to deliver to the house anymore, but that couldn't wipe the image from my mind that I experience every time I go past that apartment block. So yeah, I did the newspaper thing for about 2 years before I got my second job, and that is a whole story in itself. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you all for 50 subscribers. It's awesome we've got to this stage already. I'm going to try and start using this new outro, which I'm going to display some fan art as you can see on screen. The handles are below the pictures and in the description below. Be sure to follow my Twitter and you can submit more fan art to me there. Thank you very much, guys.